Hey, what's going on YouTube? Well, today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to simulate infrared photography. If you're not familiar with infrared photography, it's basically using different spectrum to shoot pictures. This can be done with filters. It can also be done with physically changing your camera. But today we're just going to simulate this in Photoshop. So let's get started. So this is a picture I took today, just a snapshot while I was walking around. The first thing we're going to do though is we're going to bump the hue and saturation to really bring out those colors vividly. And you can do this by hitting Control U. And if you see in this corner right here, I actually put a keyboard right here. I use a lot of shortcut keys and I do forget to mention them. So this way you can at least refer back to the video and see what keys I'm using at the time. So for this one, we're going to bump up the saturation and it will start to distort the color, and you want to bring it down to where it does that. So about right there looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and get that. So we'll make a copy of this layer 3 times by using Control J, 2, 3. And I like to set up my layers so that I can see the image actually change in real time when I actually start changing the colors around. It's really easy to do. So layer 1, we're actually going to name this original. Layer 2, infrared. And layer 3, original 2. So on infrared, we can start this doing screen and at 30% opacity. For original 2, we're going to change the blending mode to softer, lighter color, and we're going to do 100%. So let's click back on the infrared layer and open up a adjustment layer for channel mixer. If you click monochrome, that'll change the color to black and white. What we're trying to achieve here is we want the greens to be bright white and the blues, like the sky, and the browns and grass and dirt, to still be in color. That is the reason why we bumped the saturation at the beginning, so it's easier to manage those. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to turn this green up all the way, and then you can start playing with your reds. And like you can see, when you start bringing down the blues, then you'll see the sky start coming in. And I actually have these preset already. So let me hold that up. So this is what I found works best for this picture, and it is very situational. This will change, according to picture. So let's go ahead and change those. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So as you can see, all the greens in here are bright white. Now that looks pretty good. But we can do some other things, make it look a little bit better. So on this one, we're going to actually put a new layer adjustment for hue and saturation. A lot of infrared photography, the colors aren't so vivid, at least in this style. So we're just going to bring this down, let's say -40. Let's do a little bit more. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. Another thing we can do is let's make a copy of the bottom layer, the original, and bring that to the top, and we're going to change the blending mode to overlay. If you go to filter, other, and high pass. So what high pass does when it's on the overlay blending mode, it tends to sharpen up the image, and it will give it a little bit more depth. But what you want is it to barely, you barely want it to edge the picture. You'll notice if you go too far, it'll start like haloing around, and you'll see that a lot in some HDR photographs that are done, and it's not always a great look. So we try to keep that nice and tight. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so once in a while I'll add just a vignette to these. I don't like to bring in anything dark, anything that's, you know, apparent to the picture. So we'll use the elliptical marquee. And if you go to the center of the rulers I just created, you can hold down Alt and just push the images to each side, or the marquee to each corner. And then you do Control-Shift-I, that'll invert the selection, and you can open up a new layer if you haven't already, and fill that with black. Hit Control-D to deselect it, and filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Let's go a little bit higher so it's a little bit softer. Looks pretty good. The opacity, like I said, it's not something that I like to be a focus in the picture at all. So I like to keep the opacity around 10 to 15%. I think this one I'll do about 12. Let's see how that looks. Alright, that's pretty good. And you can also hide the rulers with Control-H. So that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and just leave me some feedback if you'd like to see some more. Alright, thank you.